Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Good job, OP. I don't understand why people think they own parking spots on public roads. Narcissists never remember their previous entitled thoughts because they're always the victim. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss a new video every single day. Parking pettiness. The story starts a little over 3 years ago when a new neighbor moved across the street from me. He had 5 boys, the youngest being 15. At that time, only 4 lived at home, but then COVID happened and his oldest moved back in with him. As the year went on, his youngest also became 16. Each of these boys had a car, as did their dad. That's 6 cars, and they kept only 1 in their single driveway, so they're always parking up and down the street. I frequently had 2 of them parking in front of my house, but as I wasn't using the area, I don't mind. This continued for over 2 years until November of last year. I had a few people over. Just one of the people who came over parked in front of his house. Apparently most of his family was out because the 2 spaces in front of my house were clear too. When he got home, he apparently started knocking on neighbors' doors to find out who parked in front of his house. When he got to mine, he asked me to have my guest move their vehicle because he needed the spot in front of his house for his family. And after all, as he told me, it's my spot as it's in front of my house. I will say that he wasn't overly aggressive about it, but he was insistent, so my guest did move his vehicle. This kind of pissed me off, so since then, I've come home and if they aren't parked in front of my house, I'll park there. I also park in the middle so it blocks both spots. Today, he finally saw me parking like that and asked why I wasn't parking in my driveway, and I simply said, well, it's my spot as it's in front of my house. Unfortunately, he looked confused, so I don't think he even remembered using that line on me 6 months back. Oh well, I'm still enjoying being petty. And our second story. Entitled driver expects traffic to part like the Red Sea at his will. Was having a decent day minding my own business, driving in my obviously lettered company truck in busy downtown noon traffic. Windows down, stop and go, bumper to bumper, 30-mile-per-hour speed up, slow down, 5-lane, 2 lanes in each direction, 1 merging lane in between. You get the drill. Great songs on the radio, and because I'm by myself, I'm singing. I respect humanity. Cast. Me, innocent and handsome North American driver in left-hand lane, singing away. It was either Tom Sawyer or Make Me Want to Holler, not sure. Ed, entitled driver, obviously hates singing and puppies. Up ahead to my left, Ed whips out and across the opposite lanes of traffic into the merging lane, which is self-explanatory, right? And we arrive alongside each other at the same time. I had nowhere to go. I have cars to the right of me, cars behind me, cars in front of me, and he has a frontal lobotomy. He's furious, pointing and shouting, driving right alongside me. I'm like, who's he so pissed at? And driving tandem with me in the merging lane? Oh well, he's a nut, I think, and resumes singing along with the radio. See, normal folks in these here parts pull into these Switzerland neutral merging lanes and know they may have to wait a bit to move on into traffic if there's no break right away. At this time of the day, best you may be able to do is frogger safely to the merging lane and check emails for a month or 6 till an opening appears. Evidently not this guy, he's different. Mommy Karen must have told him so. In less than a few hundred feet, we're suddenly together at a stoplight. I'm gobsmacked to realize that out of pure righteous anger, he'd remained on my left in the merging lane to confront me. Unfortunately, due to his irrational state, he hadn't noticed the merging lane had, morphed into a left turn on signal only lane, which you can imagine how is impossible to get out of in heavy traffic. You just have to wait for zero traffic and Johnny Law to escape, or just take the turn and find someplace later to U-turn and get back on track. And now he's stopped alongside me, inches from my face and ready to unleash the hounds of hell on his insulter. Ed, hey, a-hole, didn't you see me pull out? Why didn't you slow down and let me in? Who taught you to drive? Me, surprised at the absurdity of his complaint. Dude, really? If you wanted in back there, you could have just waited and... Ed looks at truck business lettering. I'm calling your effing boss for your reckless driving, you butt. Me, as light turns green for the chosen ones. Sounds great. I lean in. I'm the owner. Talk to you then. As 2 glorious lanes of God's faithful and patient children and their chariots pull away into the noon sun, I see Ed in my rearview mirror beating his steering wheel like it owed him money. And our next story. First ever Karen experience. Was trying food delivery for the first time, and I went to some townhome area to drop off a McDonald's order. In the time of me walking to drop the food off and back, a Karen had already trapped me. As I was walking to my car, the Karen approached me and asked if this was my car. I told her yes. She replied, "You can't park here. This is my parking spot, and I pay for this spot." I replied with, "Oh, sorry, I'm just delivering food, and I'm leaving now." Again, she said, No. You need to understand that you cannot park here. I pay for this spot, and you're not allowed to park here." I said, "Man, you must have had a bad day." Then she went into hyperdrive. "Excuse me, you cannot talk to me that way. I cannot believe you think you can talk to me this rudely. You know what? I parked behind you, and I'm just going to leave my car here, and you can just sit here and wait then." She used a lot more expletives than I'd like to type out here. Folks, it's one thing encountering a wild Karen. It's another very, very unpleasant thing to be forced to deal with one. This whole time she had her daughter right next to her, and I told Karen to go put her daughter inside and to not act this way in front of her. My guess is somewhere around 9-year-old daughter. She left me blocked in the spot and went to her apartment and came back again after like 15 minutes. For some reason, she still brought her daughter back with her and started berating me again. "Had enough yet? How's it feel to sit there? You understand that you can't park there?" I say, "I think you're wrong because I'm parked there right now, but I am trying to leave." She hits me with, "Nope, not gonna happen. You're gonna sit there and understand that you can't park in my spot." I tell her, "So you're telling me that you don't want me to park in your spot, but that you're gonna block me so I can't move my car from the spot?" Karen, "Yep, that's right." Me, "Lady, I don't think you know what 2 plus 2 is, because that does not add up." Karen, expletives. Finally, she decides to move her car from behind mine so I can leave. She begins to drive her car at the pace of 1 inch an hour. Once I see there's enough clearance for my car, I don't even give her the chance to do anything else, and I yeet my car out and begin to drive around her car. By the time I get around her car, she's already gotten out of her car and is in the middle of the road filming me. I slowly drive around her and just wave goodbye. As I pass her and wave, I know she's trying to get me to do something stupid on camera, but when she didn't get what she wanted, she planted her furious face and middle finger into my window as I drove away. I will never forget the look of demonic fury I saw from her. I parked just a little down the street to collect myself of WTF just happened, and a man walking by who witnessed the whole thing just knocks on my window and tells me, "I got you." I watch him walk over to Karen's car and proceeds to key the crap out of it. Did a whole 360 around the thing and just continued on his walk like nothing happened. That just made my day, but once I went home and told my girlfriend about what happened, she made a good point that the Karen is definitely going to think that it was me. Nonetheless, I've been chilling, the Karen got immediate karma, and I will not be delivering food anytime soon. Sometimes when crap gets too real, karma manifests itself into human form and rights the wrongs. This is one of those stories. And our last story. Neighboring HOA has placed a lock on our gate on our property. I guess you're officially an adult when you're dealing with HOA drama? My husband and I recently purchased a new home. The home is located in HOA A, which is adjacent to HOA B. Our home is right on the fence line between HOA A and HOA B, and there's a gate on our property connecting the two HOAs. Both HOAs have very large acreage and primarily dirt roads. When we purchased our home, we understood that each previous owner over the past 50 years had negotiated an agreement with HOA B for access to the gate. Gate access is desirable because our property is located such that if we were to head to the highway through HOA A and out of the main HOA A gate, it'd be a 15-plus minute trip. However, since we're located so close to the boundary of HOA B, it would only be a 3-minute trip through the gate, across HOA B, and to the highway. The agreements negotiated by past owners have all been something along the lines of paying into HOA B's annual fees to help cover road maintenance in exchange for permission to use the gate and traverse HOA B to get to the highway. When we closed on the house, we were looking forward to negotiating a similar agreement for convenience, but also for safety. We live in a wildfire-prone western state, Arizona, and the landscape where we live is such that catastrophic wildfires have happened before and will happen again. Each HOA only has one way in and one way out, so we view the gate as an extremely important route should residents of either community need to evacuate, especially if a fire or other emergency has cut off the primary route out of either HOA. Our hopes of negotiating gate access were quickly dashed when on the very day we moved in, HOA B placed a chain and padlock on the gate. My husband spoke to HOA B's president, who said that HOA B would be having their annual meeting soon and we could come and discuss gate access. We were instructed to call back closer to the meeting. When we did so, HOA B's president told us that they had changed their minds and had no interest in talking to us and that the lock would remain. At this point, we started doing our research. We tracked down old county plat maps and found what appeared to be an easement, probably an old ranch road, that leads through HOA B and onto our property dating back to at least the 70s. Additionally, from what we can tell from the real estate docs, it appears that the gate, the property it's on, and its improvements, solar-powered opener, etc., do indeed belong to us. We emailed HOA B's president the documentation we'd found, and we waited. And waited and waited. After he didn't respond for a month, we sent another email, this time formally requesting that he remove the lock and giving him a deadline to respond. He responded and said that the HOAB board would discuss. This is our dream home and we're probably going to be here for the rest of our lives, so we'd really like a neighborly resolution. But they got things off to a pretty hostile start when they locked the gate the day we moved in. I hardly even care about the convenience aspect anymore. I just want to have an additional option to get out safely if, God forbid, we have a bad fire season. So we decided to just cut the lock since it's on our real property. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.